Hello friends, welcome to Azure Data Factory video tutorials. And today video I am going to give you one upcoming feature called metadata-driven approach. Like most of the newcomers who are learning in Azure Data Factory, so they will have a little confusion about the dynamic process. How we will process multiple tables dynamically and how to create pipelines, how to use activities. So this entire dynamic process, or you can say metadata driven approach, how to develop this, how to use this. So initially a little bit confusion will be there. So what Databricks is doing, so they are releasing one feature. So currently it is under preview. That metadata driven approach will help you to understand complete end-to-end design with a full load and delta load. Delta load means incremental load. So I'm going to open Azure Data Factory version 2. There you can find a little bit UI changes in latest version, and open this Azure Data Factory Studio. So it will be routed to Azure Data Factory home screen studio. So in this screen, there you can find a new changes, which you can see that home page with a setup code repository, a Git or Azure DevOps, and there you can find a few information about ingest, orchestrate, transform data, and configure as direct links. Then the more information about the resources like videos, documents, and other information you can find. And the same as earlier, where you can find the left side menu where you can find author, monitor, manage. So today we are going to discuss about one important thing called, when you click on ingest, there you can find metadata driven copy task. So it is under preview, but it will help you to understand dynamic process. It will help you to understand process multiple tables at runtime, and how we will design delta load, how we will design full load, how we will use a copy activity filter and other stored procedures to implement end-to-end metadata driven approach. So in this approach, just we need to select a source and target, then it will create pipelines. Inside pipelines, it will create all activities for full load and delta load. So then to create a control table, the job table, or you can say metadata table, we need a database. So here you can see create a control table data source. So you need to create one data store to store this information, which is job information. So for that purpose, what I will do, I will create a new database in Azure portal. So how to create a database? So I will go to Azure homepage, SQL database. I will create a new database. I will create a new SQL database. Just create, decrease this size, ADF metadata. Just I'm giving some name. You can give any user defined name, and existing, already I have existing server. I'm going to use existing SQL server, and I don't need elastic pool, and I'm going to choose a basic configuration to store metadata. So there you can find basic. Okay, 2 GB, this is enough for us. Okay, then locally redundant, it's fine, 2 GB is fine. Then click on next, network, and additional settings, go to additional setting, create a sample database. So it will create one database and sample sales schema, which will have some tables and data. So we can utilize that tables. Review and create. Now I'm going to create a new database. So this database we will use in this dynamic approach. So that is metadata driven approach. We'll use this database. So go to your data factory and control table. So create a new data store. Create new data store. So for creating a data store, first we need to create link service. So we'll create a link service, ls Azure DB metadata, and choose a subscription and choose a server name and choose database name. Wait few more seconds. It is going to create a new database. So existing already one available, but I'm going to use new database. Okay, let's refresh. Yeah, this is a new database just now we created, and use credentials as well. I'm going to use SQL authentication. So it's a username and password. So test the connection. Okay, then create. Okay, so now here you can see this. It will create one table name called main control table. You can rename if you want a different name, you can rename this. Okay, and database name I'm going to use the DBO only under DBO dot table name. So this main control table, and if you want to rename, you can rename this. Run once or schedule or tumbling window. We'll go with the run once and we will see the background process and everything. Click on next. Now we need to select the database. So the same database is having many tables, sales tables, and we will load all these tables. So select the tables from copy activity. So from source to target. Our source, I'm going to use this tables, which is a sales table. So just now we created this table. The same tables I'm going to use as a source in copy activity. Okay. So these all tables, information will be inserted into that metadata table. Okay, click on next, select the tables, click on next. Now there is an option you can see, full load all tables or configure each table individually. Full load all tables. Individually also, if you want to select one for full load, one for delta load, you can choose this. So here you can see one for full load, maybe other table for delta load, like this. And when you are selecting a delta load, you should select that watermark column, because the delta load need watermark column. Okay, what I will do, I will select all tables delta load. So when you are selecting delta load, watermark column, and starting value also you need to select. So starting value, just I am selecting some random value. Okay, copy this like this. Every table I'm going to choose. So every table is having a watermark column called timestamp column, updated date. So same that date will apply the filter condition. Here you can see this. So when you are going with the delta load, the table source table should have a timestamp column. Then only we can apply delta load. So if source table does not have that timestamp column, then you cannot apply. There are different approaches are there. So we will discuss that later. This is a standard approach. So every table is having a modified date, timestamp column. So using that date, we are going with delta load. So for full load, you don't need a watermark. Okay, only delta load, we need watermark column. Watermark column means identifying modified data. So based on particular column. Then click on next, click on next. So customer requires watermark column name. Okay, let's verify. Yeah, so value is missing, that's why. What happened? We'll select a particular time and we'll know. Okay, next. So that table. Okay, now you can see destination where you want to store. So you can choose any destination, any database or in data lake. So I will go with the data lake. So data lake, I will create a new connection. data lake gen 2, and link service ADLS gen 2 sales metadata, just sales. I'm going to use the just sales as a data lake name. Select data lake. So here I have one data lake is available. I'm going to use that data lake. So what I will do, so I will create one container for that. Here is my data lake, and go to containers. I will create a new container, sales data. Sorry. So I'm giving just a sales data as a container name. So inside this container, we will store the data. So here it is asking a folder path, target destination. Just now we created this container, we'll give that container. Okay, and file name with extension if you want to give, you can give, otherwise default it will consider. So there you can find advanced options, edit file name one by one. This is the file name. Okay, or you can ignore, by default it will consider schema name dot table name. Click on next. Now which type of file format? Target file format. I'm going to use a CSV, and any delimiter other than comma delimiter. If you want to go with other delimiter, you can specify this, and default text format I'm using that. Okay, then click on next. So it will create one task name called metadata copy task. So copy activity it will create. So click on next. So here our source is SQL database, target is ADLS gen 2. It is going to create a task, and the source and target connections also you can verify here. Click on next. Now it will create a data sets. See here. It will create a pipelines. It will create a 3 pipelines. You see 3 pipelines, and it will generate a script. It will generate a SQL script to store metadata. So that script you can see here. One is two SQL tables and stored procedure. Stored procedure for updating watermark, that is called timestamp for incremental data load. Copy this script, go to connect SSMS. So we need to run the script. So then only we can use that. So go to database. So we'll use the database. So we created ADF metadata. This database we are going to use. Copy this server name. Okay. And first time whenever you are connecting, verify the firewall, add your local IP address in a firewall, then only you can connect. Okay, my IP address already added in firewall in existing server, that's why I'm able to connect that. That's you need to remember that. Then, so we need to run this scripts. So go to ADF. So there you can find a copy clipboard. So copy this scripts and go to databases. So this database, currently it is empty, only main tables are available, and we are going to run this script. So that script will contain, just open a new script, right click, little bit slow, new query. So copy paste that. So whatever we copy, the same script we are going to use here. So in this metadata driven approach, it will create a control table. So that control table will have a ID, source object name, source table name, source connection details, sync means the target details, okay, trigger name, pipeline name, everything will be there. So that information, if you look at this, dynamically it is created JSON text. You see this completely JSON text. So this JSON text we will insert into this table. Okay, so run this. So it will create a table, then it will insert this JSON script. This JSON script, there you can find a down insert script. Go a little down. Yeah, here you can see. Insert into that script. You can query that table. Select star from that table. This is a control table which will have a all table information. So there you can see completely in JSON format. Database name, table name. Then source copy settings and sync settings, and you can find a pipeline name and trigger name and load behavior settings also you can find. Okay, we are going to use the delta load. You can find that one also. Load behavior is delta load. Then we need to create a store procedure as well. Here you can find store procedure. Store procedure for delta load. So we are going to do delta load, right? For that delta load, it will update the timestamp. I will show that one as well. So now store procedure metadata table, that is control table, is available now. Then click on finish. Okay, click on finish. We'll verify the pipelines. Go to author. It's a new data factory. Only this pipelines, whatever we have done, dynamic process, those pipelines you can see. It is created 3 pipelines: top level, mid level, bottom level. So bottom level will have a copy activity. Top level will have a approach, lookup, getting all information with the parameters. You see this. Parameters is created, one for number of objects returned from lookup activity. If lookup activity is having 100 tables, 200 tables or 300 tables, whatever this control table. So that control table, if we have a, now we are using only 10 tables. Like this, if we have a 300 tables, so limit is 5000, it's given default value. Same thing, number of concurrent maximum. So same time it can run 20 same time. Why it will run 20 at same time means, in for each activity you can verify this. Settings, you can sequential, and there we are calling another pipeline, that is called mid-level pipeline. So go to mid-level pipeline. So this pipeline again we are passing. So here you can find all the parameters we are passing here. Trigger name, number of objects, top level pipeline name, trigger name, and number of sequential number. Okay, then so mid-level pipeline, open this. So there you can find another for each. You can find another for each. Why? Because within for each you cannot use another for each. That's why we are going with another pipeline. Okay, so there we are calling bottom level pipeline. So bottom level pipeline, again you can see lookup and execute pipeline. So this lookup will get the information from the table. Again you can see this metadata and select query. So select query which is applied already, you can see trigger name and every information which is applied, and open this low level, that is bottom level pipeline. Again you can find for each. There you can see full load, delta load. Full load means there is no store procedure, so just a copy activity. Okay, you see this. So copy activity with a source, without filter condition, and target. Okay, you can see the query also. That query is taking from direct table. Because it is in JSON format, we are applying at the JSON, you can see this. Then incremental load, that is delta load. So it is a switch case. So switch case you can go with multiple options. Delta load, now you can see more options. Just to minimize this. Now you can see this. Lookup, getting a maximum date from existing table. So existing table, it will get the maximum date to update in store procedure. So that you see this. Select maximum date, updated date from existing table. Then set that into what particular variable. So that variable we will update into store procedure. When we will update? After completion of copy activity for next time. For tomorrow, if you are processing again, you need a incremental timestamp. So that timestamp we will update using this store procedure. So there you can see that watermark column we are using that output. Then copy activity, there you can find source and sink, and source you can find complete query with the filtered with watermark column. Variable, so whatever we are getting that maximum value, so that variable we are using. So lookup will get that watermark column data to apply filter on copy activity. Then sync also dynamically. Mapping, here mapping also, there is a column called translator in a control table, so there it will define that. So just we'll run top level pipeline. So you can trigger now. So what this will do, it will fetch the data and all tables it will process dynamically. And we'll go to data lake. Just now we created one container to store this data, that is sales data. So here we should get all the files. Here we should get all the files. So go to pipeline, go to monitor. Now you can see this. First master pipeline, their mid-level pipeline, child level pipeline started, that is bottom level, where you can find our for each, inside for each there it is processing all this. One by one it will process. Okay, just refresh. So it will fetch the data from SQL DB, then it will copy the files here. Now you see. So we not mentioned proper name, that's why default timestamp it is created. Okay, so this way we can achieve, dynamic process with a metadata driven approach. So this option will help you to understand, implement metadata driven approach, and there you can see master and child pipeline, master and child pipelines, where you can go with multiple pipelines. And why? Because one for each, within that another for each you cannot use. So for that reason 3 pipelines we are using, they are created by default. Okay, so with this metadata driven approach you can go with the processing n number of tables. If you like this video, please subscribe my channel, and thank you for watching my videos. Thank you very much.